Well, welcome to another episode of Whitebeard's Kitchen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a beef brisket with obviously the marinade here that I have made up. So what I have in here is a tablespoon of smoked paprika, a heaped teaspoon of coriander powder, a heaped teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a heaped teaspoon of cumin powder, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 heaped teaspoons of harissa paste in that. I'm going to say 3/4 of a tablespoon of oregano. I'm not adding salt to this at all, simply because I'm going to add stock and that's going to be obviously salty enough. What I'm going to do is, you can see here to the side, I have onions. I have 2 medium-sized, just by happen chance, having red onion, and I have 8 whole garlic cloves. Not going to chop them because this is going to go into the slow cooker or crock pot, what people call it. Just moving over, what I've got here is roughly about 2.5 pounds of beef brisket. Some people here in Ireland call it a pot roast, kind of it the same. Oh yes, and what I should say, in this bowl, just to make a little bit so it's a bit more spreadable, I have about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil. So I am just simply going to get my hands and mix this round the beef and marinate the beef and rub it in well. I've cut a couple of incisions into the beef. Yeah, if you maybe see like 2 holes in the centre, so I have a couple of holes round the beef, so that once it's cooking, the flavours of the marinade that I have can kick in. Oh, and the other thing I should say that I've added as well, when I remember, was just a ½ teaspoon of turmeric. So that's all the spices that I have in this little bowl. So now to get my hands dirty, I'll show you once I have the beef covered and the marinade spread over it, before I would then pop it into the slow cooker stroke crock pot. Okay, I'll be back very shortly, hopefully with clean hands. So there we are, that's the beef, pretty well coated in that marinade that I have. One more thing I left out of the marinade I forgot to mention as well, just to add a tiny bit of sweetness. I just had in the cupboard, or in the fridge rather, a apple and fig chutney, so I put 2 heaped teaspoons of that in. It's just to bring out add a wee bit of sweetness to this. I might add some, I don't want to make it too sweet, to be perfectly honest. It isn't really a barbecue sauce, because I'm hoping once this is cooked, what we'll do is we'll serve this up maybe with vegetables and maybe some form of potato or other. So just then what I'm going to do is bring over the little crock pot or slow cooker part, and simply I'm going to get the onions and just dump them in down at the bottom. So there we are, and lift the bits of garlic as well. Okay, so get that in. It would have been so much easier if I had tipped the board over, but hey ho, wouldn't be me. I'm missing part of the rugby, so I want to do this pretty quickly. So, even that out a bit. There we are. So, now, just in with the beef, just dump it in. There we go. Okay, and scrape out any little bits that I can get. So, there we are. And now for the beef stock. So, I have roughly here 700 mils. I'll see if this covers it, because I have 2 beef stock cubes, not stock cubes, I should say stock pots that I'm adding to this. Right, nope. So we're going to need more water. I'm not going to show you this now, but I'll dump another one of these stock pots in and it'll just dissolve. So I'll show you what the stock pots look like. There we are, so that'll be 3 of them, so definitely will not need bloody well salt. So they're about that height. If you can see this, hopefully you can. So there we are. So I'll put another one of those in. This is simply just going to go into the slow cooker. I'm going to cook this on low because it's going to be for tomorrow. So it'll probably take at least maybe in round, I'm going to say 6 hours, but I always check it. You know, every stock pot, or should say Goodness gracious, stock pot, no. Every slow cooker stroke crock pot, again, is slightly different. I mean, mine is a reasonably cheap one. Okay, so I will pop this in now, and I will let you see what it's like tomorrow. And I should say, that's now 1200 mils of water. I forgot to say that I have in. So here we are. This is the brisket that I had done on the slow cooker. I've just taken it out of the slow cooker the day after. So it's and then what I'll do is, here is like the pot of gravy. It does need thickened, so I'll obviously use some cornstarch to that. What I will do as well, it is very powerful in terms of the garlic and spices, so I'd probably add some sugar to this, or honey. So what I've done, I have added 3 tablespoons of brown sugar to this. So it's added a tiny wee bit of sweetness. It's not overly sweet. It's just to take, obviously, as I'd mentioned, kind of the not bitter, but take the sharpness off the sauce, the flavour, with the amount of garlic that went in and the spices that had went in. And excuse me for the shakes here. I'm not using my tripod. Hopefully, to God, it doesn't blur the video too much. So I'm just going to let this sit on a rolling boil, just to hopefully reduce it a bit. And also I have added in some cornflour slurry or cornstarch slurry, wherever part of the world you're from. So we'll just let that cook off, reduce it a bit, and if I need to just thicken it, well, the cornflour slurry that I've added hasn't taken or affected the taste by any means at all. Just to show you the consistency of this, so I have reduced it, and that's kind of the consistency that I want. So I've just added a knob of butter in, obviously to try and give it like kind of a silky consistency. So there we are. I put it into, I've sliced it, I put it into just a glass dish, casserole dish. What I'm going to do is pour some of the, I would call it gravy, because I let it reduce over the meat. Put a piece of tin foil or foil over it, and just let it heat through, not that it gets absolutely roasting warm. So we'll put it on probably at about 160 degrees, maybe 170 degrees, that's in the fan oven, so, and that's centigrade. And then let it heat for maybe about 40 minutes. And that should be it warm, and then I'll obviously have some more of the gravy left, and that will do to go over the accompaniments, which I still haven't decided. So here we are out on a plate. Haven't had anything to eat from dinner time yesterday. Been too busy running about celebrating St. Patrick's Day. So I know it looks a bit of a disaster on a plate, but what's there is obviously a stack of the beef, gravy, roast potatoes, peas, and the good old cabbage. Nothing like it. Right folks, so a quick taste, because I really am hungry. So this is the beef I'm going to try, or the brisket. So, oh my God, that's melt in the mouth. The flavours that I put into it, thank goodness I did add that wee bit of sugar that I said. It hasn't overpowered it by any means, it's taken a bit of this out. I know, don't say about my roast potatoes, I like mine like this. So, as from Whitebeard's Kitchen, look after yourselves, your friends, your family, and I'm going to say, rock on, and I'll see you soon. Bye.